Motivation for us daily. Number 1. Personal confidence and motivation in the business world. One of the most commonly debated and researched fields in the business world is motivation. Why do people do what they do, and how can we motivate others to do what we need them to do in the business place? If we understand how and why people are motivated, we can encourage them to be their best and do their best at work. The more that people are motivated to be successful and achieve the goals set for them, the more their confidence in their own abilities will grow as well, which can, in turn, make them even more motivated. But you can also work on your own confidence and motivation in the workplace in order to achieve your goals and intentions. When people are confident and motivated at work, there are many positive factors that result in the workplace. Job satisfaction improves. Working environment improves. Everyone's full potential can be tapped. Everyone is certain of the role they are to fulfill. Number 1.1. Personal confidence and motivation in the business world. One of the most commonly debated and researched fields in the business world is motivation. Why do people do what they do, and how can we motivate others to do what we need them to do in the business place? If we understand how and why people are motivated, we can encourage them to be their best and do their best at work. The more that people are motivated to be successful and achieve the goals set for them, the more their confidence in their own abilities will grow as well, which can, in turn, make them But you can also work on your own confidence and motivation in the workplace in order to achieve your goals and intentions. When people are confident and motivated at work, there are many positive factors that result in the workplace. Job satisfaction improves. Working environment improves. Everyone's full potential can be tapped. Everyone is certain of the role they are to fulfill. Number 1.2. Personal confidence. We all know people who are confident. They seem to face life's obstacles with a level of calm that is enviable. They get into action to respond to a problem before giving themselves time to dwell or worry too much. Confident people are more successful at work because they have a belief in their own abilities to the point that they feel comfortable handling whatever comes at them. Make a presentation to the board? No problem. The confident person plans and executes the presentation without allowing fear to stop them. When someone is confident, they focus on their strengths while managing their weaknesses. Aren't afraid to take risks. Enjoy challenging themselves and setting high goals. Seek out self-improvement opportunities. Aren't afraid to admit when they make a mistake. Aren't afraid to acknowledge when they don't know something. Make good team leaders or mentors. Can relate to customers or company members at any level of the organization. Are honest about their shortcomings. Number 1.3. Personal motivation. All of us have a desire to achieve something in our lives. We want to know that we have achieved something important, of value, of quality, or of meaning. Being motivated to meet our goals means that improve our self-confidence, enhance our self-discipline, set examples for ourselves of what we can achieve, challenge ourselves to stretch beyond our perceived limits, reward ourselves for reaching our goals, enjoy the recognition or perks associated with reaching our goals. The more that we are able to achieve, the more self-confident we become. Then the more self-confident we become, the more we are able to achieve. The reverse can happen if we fail to meet our goals. If we fall short of achieving something, we may experience a dip in our self-confidence levels, which in turn may impact our motivation to try again. Understanding this relationship between motivation and self Number 1.4. Defining confidence. People sometimes confuse confidence with arrogance. The arrogant person is usually actually an insecure person, and their arrogance is a way to hide their insecurities. Where an arrogant person is boastful, a confident person has no need to boast. They know that their achievements speak for themselves. Where an arrogant person will have trouble admitting they were wrong, a confident person is perfectly willing to admit when they are wrong. They know that the admission doesn't diminish their value or their abilities. If an arrogant person tends to focus on looking good or appearing to be the best, a confident person focuses on being the best and doing the best. Number 1.5. Defining motivation. A simple definition for motivation is that it is a description of a person's motive to action. You can have a low level of motivation to perform an action. For example, if you are taking a long time to complete a project or even to begin it. But if you have drive towards a goal, objective, or target, we talk about you having positive motivation. Those who are highly motivated to achieve things in their lives are also likely to be more fulfilled as they accomplish the things that are important to them in their life. Number 1.6. An overview of this video. This video will examine the interactions of self-confidence and motivation so that you are able to use one to enhance the other. We'll examine theories about self-confidence and motivation before looking at ways to improve both. Then we'll look at what's involved in making personal changes and how to set powerful goals that will help you be more successful. Number 2. Theories regarding personal confidence. Number 2.1. Introduction. We all know someone who radiates self-confidence. Think about one of these people that you know in the workplace. What is it that their self-confidence helps them to achieve? Are they more willing to take on responsibility, at ease around their superiors, and able to admit when they have made a mistake? In this chapter, we'll examine the differences between self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-efficacy, as well as why each one is important in the workplace. Now think about someone at the workplace who does not have a lot of self-confidence. They might be shy, reserved, not willing to get into conversations where they might have to speak to their superiors or speak in front of other people. They might appear unhappy in the workplace, or at least not very excited about what it is that they are doing. Can you see how self-confidence might be important to people in being? According to psychological research, there are several theories regarding how a person's self-confidence is important to their well-being and their ability to function in the world at their fullest potential. In this chapter, we will look at the differences between self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-efficacy, and theories about why each is important in the workplace. Number 2.2. Self-confidence. Self-confidence can be boiled down to the belief that a person has it in their ability to succeed at a task, based on whether or not they have been able to perform the task in the past. However, there are actually two aspects of self-confidence. The first is competence, whether or not you have the necessary skills and abilities to complete a task. The second is self-assurance, and whether or not you believe that you have the ability to complete the task. Think about this for a moment. You might have been trained in interview skills, but you might not feel comfortable in interviews. In this case, you would have the competence but lack the self-assurance. On the other hand, you could believe that you have the ability to do something but not have the skills to actually carry it through. In this case, you are very self-assured, but you don't have the competence to do the job. True self-confidence occurs when both competence and self-assurance are in balance with each other. Self-confidence has been shown to be important in recovery from injury, overcoming setbacks, and moving through negative experiences in life. Someone with self-confidence has a belief that they will be able to recover, move past the negative, and again experience the positive. In the business world, self-confidence functions in much the same way. It enables an employee to recover from setbacks and challenges and continue to move forward. Self-esteem is the capacity to respect and think well of yourself. It means that you appreciate yourself as a unique individual with your own set of skills, talents, and abilities. David Burns defines self-esteem as the capacity to experience maximal self-love and joy whether or not you are successful at any point in. Psychologist Maxine Elliott has researched self-esteem and realized that people's self-esteem will vary from individual to individual when they are facing a setback. People who have a high level of self-esteem will be able to respond to a damaging event by using their past experience and their coping abilities and will not have much damage to their current level of self-esteem. They will still see themselves as valuable and talented even if the current evidence seems to indicate otherwise. Self-esteem can be defined as the capacity to experience maximal self-love and joy whether or not you are successful at any point in your life. However, most people will experience some loss of self-esteem when they face a negative situation and, unfortunately, those who already have low self-esteem will also experience the largest reduction in what little self-esteem they have. In other words, they will see their failure as further proof that they are incapable of being successful. This type of negative cycle will perpetuate itself each time that a person with low self-esteem faces failure, criticism, or roadblocks. Number 2.4 Self-efficacy. Albert Bandura is considered an expert on the concept of self-efficacy. He stated that people perceive their own self-efficacy as people's judgments of their capabilities to organize and execute courses of action required to attain designated types of performances. It is concerned not with the skills one has, but with the judgments of what one can do with whatever skills one possesses. In other words, self-efficacy is an individual's evaluation of their own ability to be successful in attaining a specific goal. Self-efficacy is related to our judgments about our own capabilities and what we believe we are or not able to do with those capabilities. Bandura stated that the amount of self-efficacy a person has is dependent on their ability to apply coping behaviors, increase their level of effort, and how long they will be able to retain their optimism when facing difficult obstacles and experiences. In addition, he stated that the more a person is tested by facing their fears and stepping outside of their comfort zones, the more they will enhance their sense of self-efficacy. If a person does not have a base level of self-efficacy, they will be unwilling to attempt a new task or challenge, which could of course hold them back in the workplace. The greater your self-efficacy, the more willing you will be to grow your skills by attempting new challenges, and the less you will be affected if you don't succeed. Number 2.4.1 Sources of self-efficacy. There are 4 main sources that allow people to build their self-efficacy. These are mastery experiences, let's look at each one of these individually. Mastery experiences. This is the most effective way to create a strong sense of self-efficacy for a person. As each success is achieved, the sense of self-efficacy is reinforced. However, a bit of failure is important as well. If people only experience easy successes, they will begin to feel that success is what they should experience every time they make an attempt at something new. Some setbacks are important because they teach us that we need to make a sustained effort to be successful. Still, upsets should not come, if it can be avoided, until a person has had a chance to establish a certain level of self-efficacy. Once we see ourselves succeed, we are more likely to believe that we can do social models. These are examples of others who we see succeed. When we see someone that we feel is similar to ourselves achieve, we will feel that we are likely to be able to follow suit. At the same time, Seeing people like ourselves fail despite a level of sustained effort can have a negative impact on our own self-efficacy. These models are most effective, in either case, when they are perceived to have the greatest similarity to ourselves. These models tell us the types and level of competencies to which we should aspire if we want to be successful in the workplace and in life. We will believe we can do something more readily if we see someone like us. Social persuasion, the old pep talk. When we can persuade someone that they have the competencies and abilities to master an activity, they are more likely to make longer, sustained efforts at achieving success than if they have significant self-doubt. While social persuasion can enhance self-efficacy, it can even more easily diminish it. People tend to easily believe the negative and may decide that they are unqualified to even attempt a task, even if they actually do have the ability to complete it successfully. This factor points to the importance of leaders in an organization to frequently persuade people that they are capable and competent. We will believe we can do something more readily if we have others tell us that they believe we can do it. However, it's important not to persuade someone that they are capable of something when they truly are not. You will simply reinforce any negative self-doubts that a person had, not to mention shaking their faith in you as a leader. If you are a manager, you will need to strike a balance between challenging your employees in order to stimulate their self-confidence and being careful not to set them up in situations where they are sure to fail. Emotional states. People judge themselves on their emotional reactions to situations as well. If they react with stress and tension, they may interpret those reactions as signs that they are weak or vulnerable. Mood can also affect self-efficacy. A positive mood will enhance it, while a negative mood will diminish it. A work environment that allows opportunities for stress reduction teaches stress management and acknowledges stress as a normal part of life rather than a personal weakness will help to foster positive self-efficacy in its employees. Number 2.4.2 How self-efficacy affects functioning. There are 4 major psychological processes that are important when discussing the fact that how a person perceives their self-efficacy can have an impact on their ability to function, perform, and achieve. These 4 processes are motivational processes. Now we'll look at each of these in detail. Cognitive processes. We begin to analyze our ability to perform tasks or reach goals during the cognitive process of thought. We will rehearse scenes in our mind or imagine what will happen in a given scenario in an attempt to be prepared for, or even control, the events that will happen in our lives. We draw conclusions, make assumptions, and predict what we think will occur. We then compare the actual results to our predictions and evaluate how well we were able to predict what would happen. If you have higher self-efficacy, you will also be able to manage your analytical thinking processes better under stress than someone who doesn't. We rehearse what we think will happen in a situation by thinking about it. We then compare the reality of what happens to how well we predicted it. Motivational processes. Since self-motivation is usually generated by thought, our self-efficacy plays a role as well. We use forethought as a way to regulate our motivation by imagining what we believe we can achieve. We then use our cognitive skills to set goals for ourselves and to identify what steps are necessary to achieve those goals. There are actually 3 different subsets of motivational processes that come under this theory. Causal attributions. In these instances, those with high self-efficacy understand that their failures are a result of low effort, while those with low self-efficacy will see their failures as the result of a lack of ability. Motivation can be affected in either case because in the first, a person will believe that they simply need to try harder, while in the second, a person may believe that it doesn't matter how hard they try. Outcome expectancies. In these situations, a person believes that a certain outcome will result in correspondence to a given behavior. We predict what we will get if we give a certain level of input, assistance, effort, etc. If we have high self-efficacy, we know that we simply have to give the right input to get the desired outcome and will be motivated by that. Understanding. If we have low self-efficacy, we either cannot understand what input we need to give or we simply don't think we are capable of giving it. Self-influence by goal setting. We will talk more about goal setting in a later chapter, but this is the idea that we are able to influence our own motivation by setting our own goals and challenges. We will be satisfied if we achieve our goals and less satisfied if we do not. Again, self-efficacy plays a role because it will affect the level of challenge and goal that we will set for ourselves. If we see the goal as simply a function of the right activity combination, we will set it high when we have high self-efficacy because we will believe we can attain the goal. If we don't have high self-efficacy, we will set low goals for ourselves, if we set them at all. Effective processes. This element relates to how we perceive our own coping abilities. If we face a difficult situation and have low self-efficacy in this area, we are more likely to experience high levels of stress and depression. If we have a high level of self-efficacy related to our ability to cope, we will be in action around resolving the situation or getting through the difficult scenario, rather than getting mired down and stressing over negative outcomes that are either out of our control or are very unlikely to happen. In other words, those with self-efficacy know that they will be capable of handling whatever life throws at them. Those without it will experience a great deal of fear and anxiety and may not be capable of coping with difficulties. This element relates to how we perceive our own coping abilities. If we believe, then if we lack self-efficacy in this area. Selection processes. Finally, self-efficacy affects us by influencing the decisions that we make for ourselves in our lives. Our level of belief in ourselves and our abilities can shape the environments we choose, the educational path we opt for, and the type of career we pursue as well. If you are in an environment that you are unhappy with, one question to ask yourself is whether or not you chose that position because you didn't believe in yourself enough to push yourself further in your education or the risks you took at work to prove yourself. The higher the level of self-efficacy a person has, the less likely they are to settle in a career that they don't find satisfying. You want employees with a high level of self-efficacy because it is more likely that they will have actively chosen their current profession and so will be more. Therefore, you want employees with a high level of self-efficacy because it is more likely that they will have actively chosen their current profession and that they will be more interested in it and enthusiastic about it. Number 3. Theories regarding motivation. Number 3.1 Introduction. Since motivation has been so thoroughly studied, there are numerous theories about what motivates us. In this chapter, we'll look at some of the most popular motivational theories to help you build a base of understanding for improving your own motivation. Number 3.2 Herzberg's motivational theory. Frederick Herzberg studied how a worker's work environment would affect his work by causing satisfaction or dissatisfaction. His idea was that if people were satisfied at work, they would be motivated to work, and the opposite would be true if they were dissatisfied at work. He interviewed employees about their feelings at work and then published his findings in 1959 in his book called The Motivation to Work. His theory is also called the motivation hygiene theory because he considered the factors that satisfied employees to be motivators and those factors that were dissatisfying to be hygiene factors. Hygiene factors being present does not avoid job dissatisfaction, but if you take them away, you will find that they can demotivate an employee. Examples might be the loss of a regularly expected pay raise or some decrease in how you perceive your work environment, turning off the air conditioner or no longer allowing personal space heaters. Herzberg identified the top 6 factors leading to dissatisfaction and the top 6 factors leading to satisfaction in the workplace. These are listed in order from highest importance to lowest importance in Figure 1 below. Factors affecting job attitudes. Leading to dissatisfaction, leading to satisfaction. Relationship with peers. Figure 1. Herzberg's factors affecting job attitudes. Herzberg argued that because the list of factors for dissatisfaction and satisfaction are not exact opposites of each other, we cannot assume that simply improving a dissatisfying factor would result in satisfaction. It would simply result in the absence of dissatisfaction. The same could be said if you remove a factor of satisfaction. The result wouldn't necessarily be dissatisfaction, but just the absence of satisfaction. So, what does this mean for actions we can take? Because the list of factors for dissatisfaction and satisfaction are not opposites, we cannot assume that improving a factor of dissatisfaction will lead to satisfaction. It would simply lead to the absence of dissatisfaction. There is one important distinction to notice when it comes to self-motivation and self-confidence. The factors that tend to bring us the most satisfaction at work, and so we assume the most motivation, are the ones that we have some control over and that are most related to our own job performance. If we are focusing on our performance, we will achieve our goals and receive recognition. If we do something we enjoy, that alone can provide satisfaction. We also see that taking on more responsibility, advancing, and growth are all ways to be satisfied at work. We can volunteer for additional responsibility, look for ways to grow our skills, and discover what would be necessary in terms of our performance to take advantage of opportunities for advancement. We might not be able to control company policy or the other factors that can lead to dissatisfaction, but we can certainly control our own work performance. The factors that tend to bring us the most satisfaction at work, and so we assume the most motivation, are the ones that we have some control over and that are most related to our own job performance. If you happen to be a manager, this information is also important because it shows you how different decisions you make may affect your employees. If you focus on motivation by putting in place factors on the left-hand side, you might relieve dissatisfaction, but you won't necessarily create satisfaction and motivation. Fail to provide opportunities for growth, advancement, additional responsibility, achievement, and recognition, and you will have a team lacking satisfaction and motivation. This is important to realize that you have a better chance of achieving motivation when you focus on the individual, not on the traditional carrots, salary, benefits, prestige, etc., that we tend to think of as motivating us. If you are a manager, you have a better chance of achieving motivation when you focus on the individual, not on the traditional carrots, salary, benefits, prestige, etc., that we tend to think of as motivating us. Number 3.3 Vroom's expectancy theory. Another theory of motivation was posed by Victor Vroom. It is different from the previous theory because it focuses not on the needs of a person, but on their outcomes. He saw effort as being the result of motivation, which led to performance and then the resulting outcomes of that performance. He said that in order for a person to be motivated to put forth the effort, he or she must see a link between the three factors: effort, performance, and outcome. He proposed three variables that created the link. Victor Vroom proposed that motivation is directly linked to the expected outcome of any effort that is expended. He defined three variables that created the link: expectancy, instrumentality, and valence. Figure 2 gives a visual description of this theory, which we will examine further below. Figure 2. Vroom's expectancy theory. Expectancy means that you believe that the effort you put in can affect the performance that you deliver. For example, if you work harder, you will perform better, and if you work less, your performance will suffer. This factor is affected by having the resources you need to do the job: time, money, hardware, or software; having the skills and knowledge to do the job; having the support you need to get the job done: manager support, approval, information. Instrumentality refers to the belief that your performance will affect the outcome. For example, excellent performance will result in a more positive outcome than poor performance. But even more, it is the belief that you will be rewarded for the hard work. You believe there is something in it for you if you perform well. This belief can be affected by having a clear understanding of what has to be achieved in order to receive a reward, what the rules are for you to get rewarded for your effort; trusting the people who will decide whether or not you, or others, receive a reward for a corresponding level of outcome; transparency in the process that results in who gets what outcome and corresponding reward. Valence is the importance that a person places on the reward or expected outcome. For example, if I am motivated to spend time with my family more than by money, I will not value an offer of overtime. On the other hand, if money is of utmost importance to me at the moment, I will place a much higher value on. So, in order for a person to be motivated by what they believe the outcome will be, the reward, all of them, they must believe that their increased effort will increase their performance. They must believe that their increased performance will increase their reward. They must value the reward being offered. You'll also notice the box in Figure 2 with equity, indicating that people will compare their outcomes with those received by others, and they may adjust their effort accordingly. For example, if I sold 100 widgets and you sold 50 widgets, but we both got the same bonus, I will probably reduce my effort the next time around. In other words, I will be less motivated because I will perceive that there was some inequity in the reward structure. Under this theory, organizations will have a challenge in motivating every individual because motivation is based on an individual's perceptions of expectancy, instrumentality, valence, and equity in the existing system. However, as individuals, we can apply this theory of motivation to any area of our lives where we need to be motivated. We can create our own rewards for our performance and for achieving our personal goals. Since we would also be in control of the reward system, there would be no chance of not getting the expected reward, unless, of course, you don't follow through on your promise to yourself. As individuals, we can apply this theory of motivation to any area of our lives where we need to be motivated by creating our own rewards for performance. David McClelland based his theory of motivation on the idea that each of us has three fundamental needs. The need for power, authority. McClelland said that each of us has these three needs in a different balance. These needs affect how we can be motivated as well as how we try to motivate other people. McClelland was particularly interested in understanding people who have a high need to achieve because they are not as common as one might think. Here is a brief explanation of each type of need. NACH, need for achievement. Strive to attain goals. Need a sense of accomplishment. Affil, need for affiliation. Need for interaction with others. Want and need to be liked. NPOW, need for power. Need to influence others. Need to make an impact. Need to increase personal prestige or status. McClelland conducted a famous experiment where he asked people to throw rings over a peg, like in a fairway game. There were no instructions given as to where the people had to stand, so people threw the rings from different distances. Yet he noticed that the people who had tested as having a high level of the need to achieve chose their positions carefully. They picked positions that were neither too close nor too far. They chose a distance that was realistic but not too easy. In other words, they seemed to be challenging themselves while still making achievement of the goal a real possibility. What McClelland realized about those with a high level of need to achieve is that they set goals at a level where they feel they can influence the outcome and yet where there is still the need to stretch in order to achieve the goal. He also found that these people were more likely to look for ways that a situation could be improved. They believe they have influence and the ability to make a difference. So what if you are not a naturally achievement-motivated person? If you don't see the achievement of the outcome as reward in itself, you are not alone. Many people are motivated by affiliation or power instead. But McClelland believed that motivation by achievement could be taught and learned. In fact, you are learning some of the ways to become more motivated by realistic goal setting in this video. Number 3.5, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Finally, not discussion of theories of motivation would be complete without Maslow's hierarchy of needs. In 1943, Abraham Maslow published a theory on what motivates people in his paper, A Theory of Human Motivation. He posited that people have 5 levels of needs that they seek to meet. The more basic the need, the more motivated a person will be to fulfill it. So using his hierarchy of needs, you can begin to assess how strong the motivation factor will be for a group of people or an individual. Figure 3 shows Maslow's hierarchy. The bottom 4 layers of the pyramid Maslow called D needs or deficiency needs. Failure to meet these needs could result in physical harm in the case of the physiological level. Or if the next 3 layers of needs are not met, such as lack of security, friendship or love, and self-esteem, the body won't necessarily give physical signs of the deficiency, but the person will be upset, disconnected, anxious, or tense. Maslow proposed 5 levels of human needs. The most basic, and therefore the most motivating, are at the bottom of the model. Number 3.5.1 Level 1. Physiological needs. The bottom, or most important needs, are the physiological needs. These are just what they sound like. With the exception of clothing and sexual activity, the things that our bodies need in order to keep functioning. These are the things that we will be most motivated to pursue should we experience a lack of them. They include Number 3.5.2 Level 2. Safety needs. Once the physical needs have been met, the individual will then focus on making sure that they are safe. These are the things people want in order to create a certain level of predictability and order in the world. It doesn't just mean physical safety, but can also mean general health and well-being, safety from financial ruin, injustice, or having to deal with the stress of the unfamiliar. Other examples related to our professional lives include protection from unilateral authority, reasonable accommodations for the disabled. Number 3.5.3 Level 3. Belonging needs. The third level of human needs revolve around social interactions and the need to belong. These needs will be pursued once the lower needs are met. People will fulfill this need by pursuing individual relationships and by joining larger social organizations. These relationships are emotionally based and fulfill the need to be loved by, cared for, and accepted by others. All human beings need to feel a sense of belonging, which will be manifested in a variety of relationships, including those in the workplace. If these needs are not met, individuals become more at risk for depression, social awkwardness, or anxiety, or loneliness. In some cases of extreme peer pressure, individuals may actually sacrifice the lower levels of needs in order to fit in. People may fulfill this level of need through different relationships, such as clubs or social organizations. Professional organizations. Number 3.5.4 Level 4. Ego status. The ego status needs are related to the belonging needs, but with one major difference. Whereas belonging needs refer to being a part of a group, ego status needs refer more to how the individual believes she is seen by those groups. We each have a self-image which is at least in part developed by how we believe we appear to others. For example, we believe we are smart, funny, kind, considerate, or any number of different attributes. We also believe that others see us that way. Our needs at this level revolve around us, reinforcing our self-image and, by turn, the image others have of us. People will strive to fill this need by status and achievement at work. The accumulation of status symbols, cars, homes, etc. Taking opportunities to lead others. Associations with people who have the esteem of others. Personal achievement in areas such as education, skills, and hobbies. Pride in the achievements of their family members. The ego status level of needs related to how we believe others see us and how those with the healthiest sense of self-esteem are those whose esteem is based on their own accomplishments and internal feelings. The more self-esteem is based on external things and associations, the more fragile that esteem is. Additionally, we perceive a certain status that we have in our groups. This status could be conferred on us literally with a title, such as director, manager, administrator, chair, treasurer, or secretary. It could be an honorary status in the sense of being the person that others come to when they need help or advice. Or it could be that you simply have a certain level of popularity, success, or other achievement that gives you a strong sense of self-esteem and accomplishment. If these needs are not met, the individual may suffer from low self-esteem or an inferiority complex. Those with the healthiest self-esteem are those whose esteem is based on their own accomplishments and internal feelings. The more self-esteem is based on external things, the more fragile it is. Number 3.5.5 Level 5. Self-actualization. Maslow described this level of human need as the desire to become more and more oneself, and to become more and more of what we are capable of becoming. This level of need is related to meeting one's full potential, whatever that might be. The exact need is very individual. For example, one person might have the need to be the perfect parent. Another individual might have the need to become athletically gifted, or another to become artistically expressive. The need for self-actualization is the need to become more and more oneself, and to become more and more of what we are capable of becoming. It's important to realize that this level of need is only achievable when the other four have been met. 1. Must be physically nourished, not have to focus on safety, feel loved and a sense of belonging, and have a good level of self-esteem before he or she would seek this level of desire. Maslow related two ways of understanding self-actualization that were taught to him by his professor, Dr. 1. To cease caring about the good opinion of others. 2. To do things purely because you enjoy them, because they are the reason you are here on earth. Not because of money, fame, or any other reason. The more we are self-actualized, the more we will find that we are motivated by the things in life that make us happy rather than those that we do simply because it is our job or our role. Also, an increase in self-actualization naturally leads to more self-confidence because you feel more secure of yourself in general. If you no longer care about what other people think, generally, and you are doing things that you love, you are affirming your individuality and accepting yourself, faults and all. Number 4. Methods for improving self-confidence. Number 4.1 Introduction. When we discuss ways of improving self-confidence, we also need to talk about improving self-esteem and self-efficacy, as they are all related concepts. We'll start this chapter by looking at some tools you can put into practice whenever you need a quick confidence boost. Next, we'll look at how to build lasting self-confidence through building self-esteem and self-efficacy. By enhancing these attributes, your self-confidence will naturally develop and will show itself in your actions and behaviors. You will no longer have to fake it until you make it. Instead, you will actually be more self-confident at work and in other. Number 4.2 Tips to improve self-confidence instantly. There are times when we need to feel more confident to face a situation at work. Maybe you are going to give a major presentation or you want to ask your boss for a raise. You don't necessarily feel as self-confident as you'd like, but you can follow these tips to give you that extra boost of self-confidence. Number 4.2.1 Dress up. When you need to feel more confident, pay attention to how you are dressed. When you feel that you look your best, you are more likely to carry yourself with more confidence. You will find it easier to interact with others and you won't be distracted by worrying about how you look. You don't have to spend a great deal of money on a new wardrobe, but you can make a few small changes that can help you to appear sharper. Get a modern haircut. Make sure your clothes fit you properly and in a flattering manner. Invest in a few great accessories and make sure you are pressed and polished. When you feel that you look your best, you are more likely to carry yourself. Number 4.2.2 Step up the pace. Next time you're at work, take a moment to watch people and how they are walking. What does their walk communicate about them? Are they walking slowly, trudging along, with their head down? Or do they walk quickly, head up, with a pleasant smile on their face? You can feel more confident by walking with purpose wherever you go. You're on a mission, with places to go and people to see. Walk about 25% faster than you normally would, with your head up and your energy flowing. You will start to feel more important and more confident. Watch people walking by the next time you're at work. What does their walk Number 4.2.3 Watch your posture. Just like with the discussion on walking above, the way you carry your body tells others a lot about how you feel about yourself. Are you slouching, slumping your shoulders, and looking pretty lethargic? Then, you're communicating to others that you don't have a lot of self-confidence. Instead, practice good posture. Sit or stand upright with your head up and your shoulders back. Make eye contact with others in a friendly manner. You'll feel more alert, more confident, and more powerful. Practice good posture to feel more alert, more confident, and more powerful. Number 4.2.4 Personal advertisement. Let's say you're having a really bad day. You made a mistake on that big presentation, your boss is not happy, and you feel like crawling under a rock until the weekend makes it around. What you need is a way to boost your self-confidence so you can take responsibility for the mistake and get in action around cleaning up any mess. This is where you could really use someone to boost you up with a motivational speech. But since you can't rely on another person to say what you need to hear, you can do it for yourself. A personal advertisement is a 1-minute or less speech that you write about yourself and all your strengths and abilities so you can refer to it whenever you should have a personal advertisement or commercial that you write about yourself. This is a short speech, less than a minute, which highlights everything that is great about you. You are writing an advertisement about yourself, so focus on your strengths, why you're good at your job, and what you like about yourself. Whenever you have a moment where your self-confidence wanes, you can pull out your personal advertisement and read it to yourself, out loud in a mirror ideally, but you can always read it silently to yourself at your desk. This will help you remember that although you have made a mistake, you are still a great, valuable person with a lot to be proud of. Number 4.2.5 Practice gratitude. Probably the fastest way to feel bad about yourself is to focus on what you don't have, what you haven't achieved, or to compare yourself to others that you feel have achieved more than you have. If you focus on what you haven't achieved yet, you are bound to start listing your weaknesses as reasons for why you haven't yet achieved those goals. Instead, practice focusing on gratitude. Every day, write down a list of at least 5 things that you are proud of accomplishing, or things that you can be grateful for in your life. This could include relationships with people you love, your health, your educational achievements, your professional achievements, and any other positive aspects of your life. You could even keep a list with you in case you ever face a moment where it's really difficult to focus on the positive. If you train yourself to focus on what you have to be grateful for, you will be amazed at how much more confident and happier in general you will feel. Write down at least 5 things every day that you are grateful for, and you will be training yourself to stay focused on the positive in your life and about. Number 4.2.6 Pay people compliments. There is one surefire way to surround ourselves in negativity. That's to gossip about others. When we feel bad about ourselves, we often look for ways to project those feelings onto others by gossiping and insulting them behind their back. Instead, try disengaging from the gossip circle. Everyone has something valuable about them, so focus on that instead. Refuse to gossip about others, but instead, pay them compliments. The more you practice paying sincere compliments to others instead of focusing on their negative attributes, you'll be more likely to focus on your own positive attributes as well. By looking for the best in other people, you will bring out the best in yourself. Try disengaging from the negative influence of gossip and instead focus on the positive in others by paying them compliments. Number 4.2.7 Sit up front. Avoiding the front row is a very common thing. Perhaps it comes from school when we didn't want to be singled out by the teacher, particularly on a day we hadn't completed an assignment. So we sat towards the back, hoping not to be noticed. But at work, sitting towards the back shows either disinterest or a lack of self-confidence. Instead, sit up at the front of the room. You will feel more confident doing this over time as you learn that there is nothing to be uncomfortable about. Plus, it doesn't hurt to put yourself in the eyesight of some important people in your organization. Sit in the front row to practice allaying fears of being noticed by other people and to start feeling more confident. Number 4.2.8 Speak up. Many people are nervous about speaking up in group discussions. They may be afraid that others will judge them for what they say, and they are concerned about looking bad or feeling stupid. However, we are usually amplifying this fear in our own minds. Most of the time, people are much more accepting than we think they are, particularly because most of the other people are likely dealing with the same fear. We usually amplify the fear of speaking in front of others in our own mind, particularly because most other people are likely dealing with the same fear. Make it a game with yourself. Decide that you will speak up at least one time in every group discussion that you're in. You'll find that it gets easier in time. You'll be improving your public speaking skills and will feel more and more confident in sharing your opinions and ideas in front of other people. In fact, in time, you may even begin to be seen as a leader by your peers and supervisors if you continue sharing and contributing to group discussions. Number 4.2.9 Exercise. Feeling low about yourself? Take a hike, or a walk, or a bike ride, or go work out in the gym. Not only is exercise a great way to blow off stress, but setting and achieving physical fitness goals is an excellent way to feel better about your abilities. You'll feel proud as you reach each milestone you set for yourself. Plus, you will feel more energized and probably more attractive as well, both of which can help improve your exercise. Not only relieves stress, but achieving your physical fitness goals is an excellent way to feel better about your abilities. Number 4.2.10 Focus on contributing. In a similar vein to thinking about what you have to be grateful for, another way to keep from focusing on the negative in the world and about yourself is to focus on the contributions that you can make to the workplace and to others. When you shift your focus to what you give instead of what you get or how you are perceived, you will stop worrying so much about yourself. Plus, if you can help others or contribute in some positive way, it will simply make you feel good. For all of these reasons, focusing on what you contribute will help to boost your self-confidence. When you shift your focus to what you give instead of what you get or how you are perceived, you will stop worrying so much about yourself. Number 4.3 Building self-esteem at work. Self-esteem is an excellent barrier to depression and other negative emotions. Yet it can be difficult to both build and maintain. However, research has shown that the more roles people fill in their lives, the more self-esteem they have. This means that our work role is one opportunity for building self-esteem. Our work role is an excellent opportunity for building self-esteem, yet the modern workplace also provides challenges to maintaining our self-esteem. Yet, the modern workplace provides a challenge to maintaining self-esteem. There are several reasons for this, which can vary from workplace to workplace. But some common reasons the workplace can be difficult on our self-esteem are: the fast pace of work means we don't always receive acknowledgement for our performance, or the demands on us for productivity makes us all feel like we can't do enough. We work incredible amounts of hours that encroach on our downtime and restorative competition is fierce in many workplaces, making it hard to feel we've contributed if we aren't. We may be the receivers of aggression, rudeness, and insensitivity from others due to such a high-pressure environment. Challenges that arise in cultural and age differences in the workplace can have some workers feeling unappreciated and others outdated. In the face of such challenges to our self-esteem in the workplace, what can we do to help protect ourselves? Following are 4 strategies to help build your self-esteem at work. Number 4.3.1 Pursue your passions. One strategy is to pursue your passions every day, even if it's only for 15 minutes or over your lunch. Break. Take a few moments to read a favorite book, research your next travel holiday, or touch base with a friend you haven't talked to in quite a while. Do the same outside of work. Make time to watch that old foreign film you've been meaning to see. Take a stroll through an art gallery to broaden your view of the art world, or work in the garden planting flowers or vegetables for the coming season. Take a few moments out of every day to dedicate to something you are passionate about, both at work and at home. In your work, find something new that you can learn about it. Even if you can dedicate only a few moments a day to learning something new about your job, it can help you to find the passion that you once had for it. Viewing work as a learning experience keeps your mind fresh and allows you to be pleasantly surprised by a job that you may have felt was old and stale. Number 4.3.2 Track your efforts. It's natural to forget what we actually accomplish in a week's time. We all do more than we realize, but we tend to just accept it as second nature and stop noticing it. A great way to help build your self-esteem at work is to keep track of what you actually achieve. Think of it as a personal report card. Take a piece of paper and write it down whenever you give 100% effort to a work task. Try to write down at least 3 each day. At the end of the week, you'll have 15 different reasons to be proud of yourself for that week. We all do more than we realize, but we tend to just accept it as second nature and stop noticing it. You can build your self-esteem by keeping track of what. Number 4.3.3 Self-Esteem Bulletin Board. Another idea is to create a bulletin board or poster in your workspace that details your achievements so that you can see a physical reminder of what you have accomplished. Create a space on a wall that you will see every day and include evidence like a letter from a satisfied customer, a copy of an award certificate, an email of praise from your boss, or a picture of your child graduating from school. You should put anything there that reminds you of the people who love you, the people you love, and the things you have achieved. You should be able to look at it and know that no matter what happens at work, you have a full, rich life and a lot to be proud of. Be sure to update the bulletin board periodically so that you don't stop noticing your special bulletin board. Create a space on a wall that you will see every day and include evidence like a letter from a satisfied customer, a copy of an award, an email of praise, or a photo of your child graduating from school.